Welcome to day 30 of my 40-day prayer condition for President Trump in America, here on a fly on heaven's wall. Today I read an article by a blogger and a news reporter by the name of Tammy Bruce, a conservative. She was commenting on the fact that the media laugh their heads off anytime there's any kind of comparison made between Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan, especially when Trump makes the comparison. But she points out that, in fact, there is quite a comparison. Just as the media is doing with Donald Trump, they raked President Reagan over the coals, calling him Hitler, calling him a fascist, calling him planning a beer hall push to overcome American democracy, to get rid of the Bill of Rights. I mean, everything was labeled against Ronald Reagan. Same kind of hysteria, just not to the levels that we have today. Donald Trump is in the same crosshairs, except the liberal progressives of today are quite a bit more lunatic than they were in the 1980s. More violent, they're more unrestrained, they're more willing to invent news stories out of whole cloth in order to create a narrative. They're like a version of the old Soviet propagandist who used to publish a little story in some no-name newspaper out in the stands, and then over the course of weeks or months it would migrate until it got to the notice of the New York Times or the Washington Post or other Western media, who would then, without much fact-checking, just publish it. And in that way the Soviet Union spread propaganda to the West. And that's pretty much how the press is operating today, except they're publishing these false stories themselves in our own newspapers. And then they run with them as if they're true. And sometimes they'll even say, well, we don't know if this is true, but here's the gossip. So saying that you don't know something is true and then running with it as if it is true is no different than just flat out lying. So Ronald Reagan, I guess within 90 days of taking office, was shot by John Hinckley. He was a little unhinged, and probably, I think, Tammy Bruce certainly does, that the liberal drum against Ronald Reagan is one of the things that motivated him to go after him as a great way to impress Jodie Foster. The fact is, Donald Trump is in great danger. His life is in grave danger. We can't even know if the Secret Service will protect him because the liberal progressive mental illness disease has infected the entire government. It wasn't too long ago when a top leader in the Secret Service had to be fired. Or I hope she's been fired. She was certainly placed on leave for stating that she would never defend the life of President Trump. There's people in the intelligence services who are withholding information from the president. It is alleged. I personally believe it because that's human nature. The Democrats and liberals in general have demonstrated over and over again that professionalism falls by the wayside when it comes to their ideology. Once upon a time, you could expect a liberal to be professional regardless of his personal feelings. I think those days are long gone. So we need to pray for President Trump especially because his life is in danger. I don't know about you, but I fully expect one or more attempts will be made to assassinate President Trump. So if it's not done by a die-hard liberal progressive, it will be done by someone who's been radicalized by liberal progressives. And don't think that only Muslim jihadis can radicalize people. The liberal progressives have been radicalizing this nation for years. So please pray with me now for Donald Trump, for his safety, and especially for that of America, because it will not be a good thing for our nation if our president is assassinated or he is attempted to be assassinated. Either way will spark significant social unrest. Heavenly Father, as you look upon this world that you created with such hope for love and happiness, I must imagine that you are deeply dismayed. I'm not one of those people who believe that all the craziness that happens in this world is your will. I'm not one of the people who believe that the fall of Adam and Eve was your will, or that the strife and struggle that we go through is your will. The fact is that we make choices. Adam and Eve made choices in the garden. We have continued to make choices up the line, and those choices all have consequences. They change our thinking, they change our feelings, they change that of those around us. They create the world that we live in. And in spite of everything you've done, from teaching us your wisdom through the Old Testament to the sending of Jesus, who made every effort to teach people a new way, to the prophets and people working through Jesus, right up to some young moon, who have been teaching your wisdom and trying to convey to you, to us, your heart, your unconditional love, and how much you want us to become people who can live according to the principles of love and happiness. Father, I pray that because we've made such a hash of this world, that you can really exert your influence through all the people who respond to you, to keep President Trump safe from assassination and harm. Father, for the sake of our nation, and this nation for the sake of the world, I pray the protection of you over our leaders, our Congress, our president, and the nation as a whole. Please help us be mindful, Father, every minute of the day, of every day, of how much you are struggling to see our world improve. Let us be the people, Father, who can respond to your constant call. I pray in true love. Amen. Thank you very much. Once again, please subscribe to my channel, A Fly on the Wall. And specifically, these videos are listed under A Fly on Heaven's Wall. And like the videos and share them especially. The more you can share these, the more it might have an impact. Who knows? Maybe one of these videos will make its way to someone who's being radicalized by liberal progressives right now, and it might change their life. So please hit that share button and share it with your friends. And I will see you next time. Until then, God bless.